Coming up on Cabela's Sporting Dog Adventures, we hit the fields of Saskatchewan right at the end of a major winter storm. The wind is up and the birds are swirling like a vortex.
Take them.
Stay tuned for my best duck hunt to date, coming up next on Cabela's Sporting Dog Adventures.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Hey, pretty mama, go and grab the scatter gun. Rommel's looking like he's got one more good run. His hips are a little shaky, but his heart's still true. Oh, how that dog loves hunting with me and you. Sporting Dog Adventures, run, boy, run. Everything you need is here under the sun. Everything you need is here under the sun.
This week we're out in southern Saskatchewan at our duck camp with friends Tim, Brad, Mike, and crew. Our hunts here have always yielded great results. This trip to the field came after a 15-hour drive. We came from Wisconsin, we drove to Saskatchewan. From about the North Dakota line all the way to Saskatchewan, we fought a 40 to 70 mile an hour headwind. We're in a hurricane. Literally driving along and now it's blowing like 40 miles an hour. It's crazy. Duck hunting, Canada. We're almost there.
Take them.
Needless to say, it didn't affect the ducks. They were circling and bombing around right at first light. Come here. Here, hold. For this hunt, we had scouted a cut wheat field. I was excited, as wheat fields in the past had really proven themselves to us in this area. Even though it was still early and a tad dark, legal shooting time arrived. This did make things a tad difficult, as we were dealing with low light conditions and high wind.
Take them.
The wind definitely affected the birds. They would dive bomb in and almost stop right above our decoys and hover.
Take them. Here we go. Take them. Take them. Take them. Take them. This is stupid good.
We had so many birds work in the area. Groups would come in, we'd shoot, and we didn't send the dog out to pick them up because there was another group right behind them. We waited until a lull in the action. The thing about this day, the lulls were few and far between.
Yeah, that was cool, wasn't it? We're looking at the ones out front and they almost hit us. Come on, here, hold, hold, back. We picked a few up.
Coming up on Cabela's Sporting Dog Adventures, our morning hunt continues as more birds are circling looking for a place to feed. Bigger and bigger flocks head to our wheat field buffet. But first, here's a conservation quick fact. The Everglades have long been an important waterfowl hunting destination, and at one time, birds were so plentiful that they darkened the sky when they took flight. But due to the loss of half of the historic Everglades, waterfowl have less space to call home. Cabela's Sporting Dog Adventures is brought to you by Cabela's, Liberty Safe, Big Dog Lawnmowers, the Kansas Department of Wildlife Parks and Tourism. Cat Pack. American Natural Premium Dog Food. Browning. Browning Pet Products. Spy Point. High-Vis. Heavy Shot. Mech Shooting Sports. The National Wildlife Federation's Vanishing Paradise Program. Conquest Scent Sticks. Hadel's Game Calls. Onyx Maps. And Boucher Automotive Group. This training tip is brought to you by these fine sponsors. On this week's training tip, we're going to show you how to properly introduce your dogs to decoys in the water. I'm here with my dog Pickett. He's been hunting many times. He has been introduced to decoys. What I'm going to show you is how I got him introduced to decoys in the water. So we're going to start with a white bumper because that's what's highly visible to the dog. We're going to start very close to the decoys and have the dog so that there's not this big barrier when he hits the decoys so that he goes straight in. From there, we're going to throw the bumper into the decoys close by and have the dog retrieve. After that, we're going to throw the bumper farther and farther so that the dog has to actually swim through the decoys, beyond, do his retrieve, and come back. It doesn't seem like a big step to a dog, but when they're seeing decoys for the first time in the water, you want to make sure that you start it and graduate it to a more difficult retrieve. If the dog gets hung up or stops by the decoys and gets distracted, you want to go back to the step before and simplify it. You always want to make sure the dog understands exactly what you're asking of them and doesn't get to a situation where they basically hit a brick wall and can't go farther. So always look at where you're at, evaluate how the dog performed, and if need be, take one step back before you start taking your steps forward. So what you want to do is you want to take your dogs out, show them a real life hunting situation so they don't see it for the first time in the field, and you'll have a lot more success with your dog and you'll enjoy your hunt. That's this week's training tip. Now back to the hunt. Back in Saskatchewan, the wind continued to blow. This would have made things miserable on a normal day, but on this day, it just brought in bigger and bigger groups of ducks. At this point, the birds were in feeding mode. It was obvious that the birds had sat tight the day before during the main part of the storm. Now they're out circling around looking for a food source. Here we go. Take them. Ducks right up front, right out front. Take them. The birds came in waves. Ducks, geese, sometimes a mixture of the two. You could watch the horizon as lines of birds glided, cupped up, and came to our location. We just had to wait for these groups as they moved closer and closer until they were in range. You want these ducks? Want them now? Once it was game on, I figured he might as well shoot. At different times, we made minor adjustments to the spread. We picked up birds, and we fought the wind trying to keep the hats on our head. Rommel was having the day of his life out retrieving on this hunt. Now, I'm not going to say it was hard for him. He would basically leave his dog blind, head out, and he had about 10 options to pick from when he got in the field. Now let's take a trip to the whelping box, brought to you by Phytovite and Gunner Kennels.
Welcome to the whelping box. It is go home day for these little guys, so it is time for the puppy's bath. And if you follow us on Facebook, you might have seen our puppy videos with the bath where we make up a little skit for each one of the puppies that we bathe home and we post. So that's what we're going to be doing with this little guy right now. I'm going to wet this little guy down.
Hey, I don't like this, baby. I don't like this at all. No, no, this isn't happening.
I usually use something that's sulfate-free because it does not dry out their fur or their skin.
This smells feminine. I'm a little boy.
Then it's time for the rinse cycle once we've scrubbed the shampoo down into his coat. Very good. Labs have a double coat. They have a undercoat, and so it's very important that you scrub all of the shampoo really down in and then really rinse it out well as well. Otherwise they'll have that wet dog smell.
Hi everyone, this is really embarrassing. I hope my mother doesn't see this.
Coming up on Cabela's Sporting Dog Adventures, the birds continue to come in waves soaring through the wind. We also give you a great cooking tip on our What's Cooking with Kate segment. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter, where you can win great prizes from our sponsors, including a puppy just like this little guy from Soggy Acres Retrievers. And now it's time for What's Cooking with Kate, brought to you by these fine sponsors. Welcome to What's Cooking with Kate. Kate, what do we have today?
We are making Scotch eggs.
This is exciting.
It is exciting. It's a very different recipe than anything we've really done so far this year. And we're going to show everybody how to use some of your freshly harvested duck meat along with hard-boiled eggs to make this traditional recipe called Scotch eggs.
So the duck meat, I took 4 ducks. We had their full breasts, so it was 8 duck breasts that we then ground in the Weston grinder.
So we have that, and then we have 6 eggs we've already hard-boiled. We'll see what kind of proportion we get. Obviously, if you're feeding a larger crowd, you're going to need a lot more than this, but we're figuring on getting probably about 4, 5, 6 Scottish eggs out of this total. So we have a bunch of different seasonings here you can help me put in. This is a horseradish mustard to have a little extra flavor in it. Ground duck has a very, very pasty texture, and that's perfect actually for what we're using it for. A couple things about the boiled eggs, just very quickly. We actually dried them with paper towel. This recipe will work better if there's less moisture on them. They're going to adhere to our flour better, and they're actually going to adhere to our meat mixture better if they're dry. We're going to just dust them just a smidge in the flour, and then you're going to take and you're going to make a ball of meat with the meat mixture, flatten it to a patty, and then we're going to take the egg and put it in it and literally mold the meat mixture around the egg. For the breading, we have flour, which we're going to use to bread our hands, and then we're also going to roll the balls of meat in one time. Then we also have an egg wash, which would be the next step after that, and we have panko crumbs. So we have our very tall kettle here with olive oil. We want the temperature of the oil to hit about 300 degrees. Okay, we are over 300 degrees on our oil, so we're most definitely ready with that. So let's get breading. Just do a dusting with the flour. Make sure we tap off any excess. After that, we are going to do an egg wash, and then we're going to follow up with panko, and then into the pan. All right, in it goes. The cooking times on this are going to vary based on how large the Scottish egg is. If it's smaller and you had a smaller egg or you used lesser meat, it can go for as little as 4 minutes. Otherwise, it can go for several minutes more. You're trying to achieve a nice, crispy, flaky crust on the outside.
Best part of the day.
Trying it.
I have to admit, this is amazing. You guys want to try one of the most ingenious recipes I've seen for wild game? Check out
Scotch eggs made with fresh duck meat.
It was fantastic. I've got to go because I got to finish this. Now back to the hunt. Back in Saskatchewan, we adjusted the decoy spread to see if we could get more birds to finish. At this point, there are thousands of birds up in the air. Now we're hoping for a little luck and we get after the birds with some more aggressive calling.
Take them. Take them. Take them.
This was my best waterfowl hunt to date. The birds were working and there were lots of them.
Yep. Got one. Get him. Nice, nice. Take him. Nice. Right here in front. Take him, boys. Man, fast and furious. Coming back around again.
Coming up on Cabela's Sporting Dog Adventures, we try to coax in a few more groups of ducks to wrap up our Saskatchewan hunt. But before the break, here's a conservation quick fact. Every year, nearly 2.7 million ducks are harvested in Louisiana. More ducks are harvested in Louisiana than the entire neighboring Atlantic Flyway. But the state is experiencing land loss very quickly. We've got to make sure that the habitat is healthy for our waterfowl. This product profile is brought to you by these fine sponsors. These are puppies, both 3-week-old chocolate Labrador retrievers. When you look at a Soggy Acres retriever puppy, they have ears, they have paws, and they have a tail. This one likes to cry. The best part about it is they will grow up and be big dogs just like Rommel, Pickett, and Pappy and perform free in the field. In all seriousness, we have superior genetics on our dogs. We have very strong pedigrees that have many master hunters and field champions on both sides of the female and male lines. We also breed for genetics that have proven health. All of our dogs are EIC, exercise-induced collapse, and CNM, canine neuromyopathy, free. They are clear. We do not breed dogs that carry these terrible genetic traits. We also check our dogs' hips, their eyes, and we give you a fair health guarantee that covers you as a consumer. When you look at buying a puppy, buy them just like you're buying a car. You want a good product, you want a great warranty, and you want to buy from a reputable business. If you are looking for a great dog that you can have as a pet and as a best friend in the field, contact us at Soggy Acres Retrievers. Remember, everyone deserves a soggy dog. Back in our cut wheat field, layer upon layer of birds keep working. We're nearing our limit, so we ended things up with some pretty finishes.
Take them. Boom. Take him, Gary. Take him. Shoot him. Well, I think we got to do a cleanup on the field. We're all pretty much out of shells. They were a little bit longer shots today because the birds didn't want to work right into the cover, but man, they were a lot of birds. We've had a really fun hunt. Back.
With the shooting complete, it was time to sit back and watch Rommel do his thing. I love when you're in the field after a good hunt, when you can just sit back and really enjoy the moment.
Here.
The wind made things difficult on a shooting level, but it was a lot of fun, and Rommel did great in the field.
Well, we drove through the night. We didn't sleep. We got up here at 4 a.m., came out, set up our stuff. 6-man limit's 48 ducks. We got 48 ducks and a couple of geese. Man, what a cool hunt. We really put the hurt on them. Rommel didn't have any help. We got a bunch of dogs along for the trip, but Rommel was solo on this one. He did a great job. It's his first trip to Canada. Last year we were going to bring him up. He actually got a tick-borne ailment and almost died, so we had to leave him home. I actually remember last year while I was sitting in the blind talking to my vet about possibly having to put him down because he was so ill, we didn't know what was wrong with him. But here he is, the triumphant return to Saskatchewan, or actually our triumphant return, Rommel's first trip to Saskatchewan. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. This was one fun hunt. Stay tuned for more high-flying adventures from Cabela's Sporting Dog Adventures.
Next week on Cabela's Sporting Dog Adventures, we wrap up Season 7. We'll bring you some great moments, our favorite hunts, and the humor we had in the field this year.
Oh, God!
All this and more next week on Cabela's Sporting Dog Adventures. Closed captioning provided by Hadel's Game Calls.
If you're looking for a puppy
Training
or want to use one of our stud dogs, contact us.
at soggyacres.com.
Lactic hunt. Best hunt I've ever had was today.